News in corporate America, the biggest media company in the world will soon have an African American as its top leader. BET's Enrique Correa tells us more about Richard Parsons and the task ahead of him as he tries to fix the problems at AOL Time Warner.
AOL Time Warner is a media giant that controls television networks, magazines, movie studios, and cable companies. Now the world's largest media company will have a new leader. Richard Parsons is expected to become AOL Time Warner's new chairman. Parsons will be taking over for Steve Case, who recently announced that he will be stepping down in May. Hugh Price is the president of the National Urban League and a good friend of Richard Parsons. Price says Parsons is already running the company, so he's the best choice to replace Steve Case as chairman of the board.
I'm excited for Dick. He's a gifted CEO, he's a brilliant lawyer, he's a role model for our young people, and I'm glad that the board did what it did.
Parsons hails from Brooklyn, New York, and grew up just blocks away from Ebbets Field. Parsons, who is a Republican, caught the eye of New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller when he passed the state bar exam with the top score. Parsons was also a law partner with former Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Parsons was appointed to the Time Warner board back in 1991 and was offered the CEO's job by former chairman Gerald Levin. Alfred Edmond is the editor-in-chief of Black Enterprise magazine. He says Parsons may be black, but he's among the best corporate executives in America.
It's just another symbol of another kind of barrier falling with regard to the aspirations of African Americans who might want to build careers in corporate America. It shows that it can be done, and hopefully we'll see others come in the pipeline over the next years in corporate America. It shows that it can be done, and hopefully we'll see others come in the pipeline over the next 20 years.
Right now, the AOL division is being investigated for their accounting practices during the Time Warner merger 2 years ago, and many believe Mr. Parsons can help the company because of his political experience. Parsons once helped the Dime Savings Bank when they were being investigated during the savings and loan crisis.
And he was very nimble in terms of bringing Dime back in that very contentious environment. And the hope is that with the regulatory issues that are facing AOL Time Warner, he's the right guy to handle that situation.
Richard Parsons' goal in the upcoming months is to rebuild AOL Time Warner's image so to bring up the stock price and appease its shareholders. In New York City, I'm Enrique Correa, BET Nightly News.
In Salt Lake City, Utah, a black woman suing for racial discrimination will finally get her day in court. Michelle Boyer is suing rocket maker Cordant Technologies. She claims she was sexually and racially harassed during her 17-year tenure at the company. At one time, she said some co-workers wore KKK-looking outfits to work. The case will be tried in a federal appeals court because a lower court has refused to hear it. NBA star Chris Webber faces serious off-the-court troubles. He was indicted today on charges he lied to a grand jury about taking money while he was a player at the University of Michigan. Webber's father and aunt were also indicted on the same charges. A conviction could carry significant jail time. In tribute to the King holiday, the documentary The Murder of Emmett Till will air this Monday on PBS. BET sat down with director Stanley Nelson to talk about the film's importance.
Everybody knew we were under attack, and that attack was symbolized by the attack on a 14-year-old boy.
In the summer of 1955, Emmett Till was brutally murdered by two white men while visiting his relatives in Money, Mississippi. The 14-year-old, originally from Chicago, Illinois, was accused by Roy Bryant and his half-brother J.W. Milam of whistling at their wives. Both men confessed to their involvement in the killing, but were acquitted of any crime by an all-male, all-white jury. When Till's mother, the late Mamie Till Mobley, insisted that her son's mutilated body be viewed by the public, the story became one that ignited the civil rights movement. Over 40 years later, highly acclaimed filmmaker Stanley Nelson heard Mobley on the radio talking about her son, and that's when he decided that making a film was a must.
I was just so fascinated by the way she could tell the story, by her memory, by her emotion.
Emmett had been found